Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing? It's Friday. How's everyone? So we hit the TGIF objective already, which is 30% of the weekly candle. That's what I was looking for today. Since, yesterday I was looking for it into the close. I still got some short in, but it didn't deliver until, it's 30% of the weekly candle until pretty much pre-market 7 a.m. So, and what I mean by that, right? Because there's going to be people asking, what is that? If you have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all up, and you expect the weekly wick to be formed on Friday. So you expect it to come back. I have weekly retrace fib settings here. I have a 20% and 30%. And that's typically how much you expect it. And we reached both objectives here. See, 12.25. It's 30%. Still, I'll be looking to see how we react with this this hourly fair value gap we made. Maybe in the midpoint, and then I'll see what happens. If we create like a 5-minute market structure shift to the downside, I'll probably get involved. I marked out like 50% of this leg up from FOMC, since we didn't really manipulate. Like, either we could come back to 50%, or we could even, like, I don't know, sometimes Friday will take out everything. It depends on how today goes. We have Powell speaking right now. So yeah, I don't really have much of I'm a bit neutral at the moment, but I do recognize that London, right, it did manipulate and come back into this imbalance and then dropped lower. So it could be a London manipulation and then New York continuation. That's what it looks like to me right now. And yeah, they were late on the shorts yesterday. I mean, happy I was able to get part of the move, but like, talking to my friends, I'm just like, I wish I got it. Like, I wish this happened during the stream, right? Because I was like, I'm not getting involved in shorts because there's no break below a low with a fair value gap. Essentially what I do then, because people do ask, when would you get involved, right? And I've said it a few times. I wait for a 5-minute short-term low to get broken with a fair value gap, with a displacement, right? So there's no displacement here. There's no displacement near this low here. And finally you do here, and also YM was, especially here, right here, YM was finally breaking a short-term low on its finally getting back into sync. My computer started glitching out when I was trying to record this part, so I think my friend told me to update my graphics card, so hopefully that's fine now, and hopefully nothing happens today. But I was able to catch like the recording of, I decided to short again, and I posted that on YouTube during the power sour hour, right? So something I also look at is if it breaks the 50% of the range, then typically that's like your high probability short here. Breaking a low here, fair value gap, and breaking also closing below 50% of this range. Then that's your second distribution, right? Because this is your like smart money reversal. This is your first distribution. It did tap here, and this is your second. And then it quickly, went lower here to Tanya's target from the morning session here. London low. Yeah. Definitely, I'm, right, so yesterday I shared my little checklist for anticipating those high resistance markets and when to either size down like I did or just not participate, which I'll get better at probably just not participating and then just waiting because oftentimes what ends up happening is I'll have the right bias and then it ends up showing up in the afternoon, like hours after the morning session. It's like driving me crazy though that like the mornings have just been sloppy in that regard. So let's see if today how it reacts in this hourly fair value gap that broke this low, right? London did come up here. So if it's going to be good, like this high should stay, if it's going to continue bearishness, this high should stay intact, really, right? Because London then should have made the high of the day. And it did come back into this like little imbalance here, right? And hourly breaker block actually, right? A low before a high. How's everyone? How's everyone doing? So, came back here, hourly breaker and fair value gap here during London. I rejected there, dropped lower, broke this structure. You know, if it's going to be good, it shouldn't come back up here. This should be good, so I'll be watching how it reacts in the midpoint of this hourly fair value gap. If we start to, you know, shift structure, then I would look for 5-minute shift to structure. We are in a daily fair value gap. Why be a bear right now? We are in a bull market because we hit all-time highs. We hit the weekly objective. I don't really like you. Where are you gonna say that we retraced into just daily fair value gap? Not even. It's a volume imbalance. Yeah, follow your own plan. Don't follow what I do. I'm just saying what I'm doing. I didn't even say I'm doing anything yet. I'm just saying I'm watching it. 9:20. Let's take our little poll here. Have I ever tried hydrogen water? You know, no, I don't know what that is. But the thing is, yeah, in the mornings I'll just be like that a little bit. You know, I guess it's like mucus. I'll cough a little bit. So, y'all are seeing me in the mornings. So I'll mute the mic and then cough. This is, I don't know, people are always saying like, are you sick? But this happens every morning. If you're a regular here, like, Yeah, I wanted to do the poll. That's a sign that I smoke. I don't smoke, bro. Don't do any drugs. I feel like, you know, if you're a smoker, like everyone would know, everyone knows you're a smoker. Like people make it be known, like they'll be posting it. I don't. I don't do the droga. Nope. So. It's probably like the way that I sleep. Like, I don't know. No point in wondering anyway. It's not like it's an issue. What is hydrogen water though? I'll look into that. Color me your color, darling. Oh yeah, J Powell was speaking at 9, so what ended up happening was like not much. Is he still speaking though? I wanna wonder, yeah, let's see where this gap up is. 539, did we reach that? The close of this candle? No, right? Oh, we did probably. Yeah, if I marked that out. Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, I'm waiting for I'm looking at reactions within this, so. Still nothing, right? There's not like it's not a shift on the 5. But there are people who are for sure just shorting in here because, well, technically you have like, this is a low and then a high, right? So this is actually a breaker on the hourly. And a fair value gap lined up, right? You have a break of a low. You know, and there's also like some sort of SMT with why I'm not reaching this area. Like I said, I would rather wait for like this, create a low and then break that. Like taking deep breaths. Because it's an hourly point of interest, but it's like, you know, basically what I've noticed. A lot of the times, like the entry is pre-market, so, or at the market open. And I am working on getting them better on that. Of course, that is very difficult to do if in front of a live audience. At the very least, I can tape read it, but, you know, that's definitely a goal I have. I have a few different goals. One of my goals, I guess, I think I would want to move to a live account, I guess, at my funded futures and Top Step. That would be cool. Although, you don't really, like, people ask me, like, is that something, like, what are the benefits? There aren't really any benefits. It's just the way the firm protects themselves, right? Because at first you're on sim, so the firm is essentially paying out of pocket. But then if they see, like, you know, you have the potential to run up your account, essentially if you get your account to a high enough balance, I think each firm has like an internal balance or something, I don't know. But I haven't really ran them up because I like to, I believe in paying yourself and milking the accounts over trying to run them up and growing them, because it's better to pay yourself and put that money in your own bank than leaving it in a funded account, and then, like, you know, you can potentially mess up and go on tilt one day and blow your profits. That's happened to people I know, like, ran it up a lot and then they blow it up. But, like, if you pay yourself, right, the money's in your bank account, right, you have money, you paid yourself, and, like, it's a lot easier to trade. It's a lot easier to just take trades on your funded accounts, because now you have money potentially for buying more evals also, and then you have more accounts to diversify among, right? Because you don't have to take, I don't copy trade amongst all my accounts, right? So I think you know, the benefit there is just, I don't know, there's not really much benefit there because then you get worse fills, than sim fills are way better. Yeah. Really, it would just be for, I guess, clout. But it's just good to have goals, because then, you know, what are you aiming towards? Another goal I definitely have is, like, eventually, you know, building up 20 Apex accounts would be cool, and then taking a 40K payout. But that, I'm giving myself time. Okay, here's the open. Let's see what it does. Let's see what people are saying. 64% bearish. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really put the stream on, like, scheduled, because I thought, I don't know what time I'll, like, get on because of Powell. I guess I could have just scheduled it for 9:15 anyway and just got on earlier. Anyway, I'm watching here as ES actually does take this high. Pretty interesting there. So we have an SMT right now with that. And YM did take that high as well. Nothing. Nothing yet. Sure, there's people, there's, like, based on that SMT, they'll just go short. But no, it's not my strategy. Especially right at the open. Okay, so YM is actually in the hourly fair value gap. We'll also have an alert for if YM takes out its, like, pre-market high. Because it's like the strongest one of the bunch. It's pretty close to it. So yeah, that's your SMT. Nothing. No entry, no trade. So, the other thing I'm thinking about, right, is like, if we like hit a point of interest, my target, which we did before indices open, that is like my criteria also for HRLR, which is, you know, perhaps we consolidate. It's possible that we come in here and then we decide to bounce back up here and then so that's my guess for now. We'll have to see. You know, DXY also did hit my objective for the week. I wanted to hit this weekly rejection block. You know, you have equal bodies here. So that's what I had for it. And yeah, we hit it. So unfortunately, like this week is like the mornings have just been, I don't know, I only like treated like yesterday really, and but I did look at the action. I think Tuesday was pretty okay action. Monday was no news, so I didn't even look. If it's a Monday with no news, you guys could pretty much assume I'm not gonna stream. Because if you think about like the weekly profile, then that's just gonna be pure consolidation, most likely, right? Just because it doesn't happen every time doesn't mean like, you know, I'm just gonna miss it if something happened then. But it's more likely than not to, if a Monday with no news, especially ahead of high impact news week like FOMC, it's best to then, you know, just wait, because then it's likely just generating liquidity. We can look at Monday. What did that look like on NQ? Yeah, this is Tuesday. So it was Monday like. Yeah, London had actually already had this move up. And then it took some liquidity here in the right at open. So not really a clean Monday, pretty choppy. And I'll get a lot of comments like, oh, yes, you can, or like, oh, welcome, WM. So to the Bagel Club, and I'll get a lot of comments like, oh, I traded it. Oh, yes, you can. It was clean, whatever. I don't know, just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know, I'd rather just wait for an easier condition. So there's not really anything. Like I said, I was waiting for a 5-minute break of a low of a fair value gap, and, you know, nothing happened. There was no low here anyway to be broken. So maybe chops higher. Chops higher, who knows what it does. Maybe creates it for later. Are we stuck between two PDRs right now or no? Kind of. So I'm actually gonna look back at my little notes that I wrote out yesterday for. Someone says that we. That's funny. It's someone, there is a 5-minute breaker. One of my friends just said, I think we rocket off the 5-minute breaker here. We didn't hit it yet, right? But they also said trapped order flow. Like, that's what I think. I think that surely we can come here and then bounce and go higher, and that will be indicative of like a, choppy market up and down. All right, so far it's been 9 minutes, and not much, although it's a pretty large range. 29 points, okay. Yeah, so right now that's like 50, it's 50-50 to me, because we hit my target of 30% retracement on the weekly candle before the market opened. Or like even before 8:30, right? Happened at 7:45. I'll look at, that's what I wanted to look at actually. And DXY hit my objective. Oh, it's just so annoying when that happens. So let me see ES. Did ES retrace to 30%? Probably not, right? ES didn't even take out, like, you see ES, like, Monday? Tuesday, we had this SMT where NQ took out this low and ES didn't. And that's where I mentioned, like, there was a decent 5-minute, like, market maker buy model there on Tuesday. Well, I wanted to measure this out. The thing is, like, you want to short, if you're going to short, like, you want to short the weakest one and you want to long the strongest one. Okay, so ES, like, hit 20%, which is, like, the minimum for the weekly retracement. 94.5, yeah. If we look at here, so this hourly fair value gap. So far we are respecting the midpoint of it. I don't know. Like I said, it's 50-50 because of that. Like, we hit this, but now it's coming back in here. For me to short though, I would have to see like a break of a low with a displacement, so like it would have to break this with a displacement. It could still come back in here and like bounce on here. Mitigation block and fair value gap it left here. Let's see. NQ is starting to break that low. It's getting bought up in that. See if it gets bought up in this breaker and fair value gap on the 5. That would be indicative of, like, chop and then going back up here. It's not, for me to get involved, I have to break this with a displacement, and it's not. It's getting bought back up. So people that are bullish, this is decent for the bull thesis as of right now. It's 943. I honestly feel like it's 50-50, so No trade for me unless it's like obvious. I want to see the weekly retrace for yes. 5D. You also had SMT here with yes too, so it's really is 50-50. It's like this could be for the bullish stance. Okay, it's getting bought up here for now. Wonder what's gonna happen. This is the level breaker. You have an OB here, fair value gap, so you know those that are brave and taking longs are probably taking long here because there's an SMT, but not particularly bullish because we already hit all-time highs on Thursday, so London, like I said earlier, London made filled this imbalance and then dropped lower, so you had that London manipulation. So I'm more inclined to think continuation. Alright, let's see what happens with this candle. Is this gonna create a bearish fair value gap? Or if it just gets bought up here, like, and doesn't create a fair value gap, that's low probability for the shorts. Okay, so now we actually have a short-term low broken here with a fair value gap. Depending on how this candle closes, there's still 5 minutes left in this candle. And I highlighted here the bullish breaker and fair value gap, so you see, like, when we're stuck between PD arrays, it's more difficult. If this candle like comes all the way back up here and it doesn't create a fair value gap, then I'm not really gonna participate. Is there any more news? Yeah, this isn't really... I mean, I could, but like I said, it's trapped between two. What is it? Any more news today? No, it's just Jay Powell. So what is it? Is he done talking? Let me go on YouTube and see. Shift F for full view. Oh yeah. Okay. This 9:34 still speaking. Thank you to Fernando DHMX Duran for wishing me a good day of trading, and Dr. Mariano Calabro. Hope you have a great trading day session. Tanya, thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Okay, so YM's cleaner than that. Interestingly enough. So interestingly enough, I think YM was like I'm just looking at YM for the moment. Shift F, okay. Because some people here do actually trade the Dow. I think most people don't. I don't really trade it. NQ. It's just leaving a tiny 5-minute fair value gap, right? You see like how much it retrace. I'm not, because it's holding here right now. I don't know. I'm not really. Like I said, it's 50-50. I have like the tiniest 5-minute fair value gap here. I don't like that kind of move, really. I guess on the 1 minute could be cleaner. But it retraced into an hourly point of interest, so I want like I want a shift on the 5-minute that's clean. So yeah, we're stuck between two PDRAs. Okay, so what I want to say is YM. Look at the daily first. Also, yeah, Tuesday didn't take out that low. Yesterday was the strongest one. You know, it didn't retrace to its weekly 20% or 30% here. %30 would be wild because that's taking out yesterday's low. So the minimum this, but you know, I don't like to short the strongest in the market. But like what happened with YM, let's see. How it reacted to its hourly fair value gap. Completely like rebalanced it. And then it did on the 5-minute break a low, break the pre-market low. Right, so right now it is the weakest of the bunch because it broke this pre-market low. NQ didn't even break this yet. So I wonder if it ends up hitting this. I'll have an alert there. I don't really trade YM. But it's a good exercise. Okay, so streaming on my NQ. What's it doing? It's retracing back to this tiny 5-minute fair value gap. I mean, it just looks like it's stuck between our PDRAs. I'm more inclined to think it chops up somewhere deeply, or it takes out something. I don't know. Rather not risk my money here. Yeah, see, it's like, if it's a small fair value gap like this, it's not gonna really hold much stance. Okay, good call for me not to get involved in the shorts. It's definitely somewhere where like I would probably in the past make the error of perhaps shorting this. So pretty happy so far with that, because according to my new protocol with the consolidation markets, I have more strict criteria. Which, by the way, I think I was looking at that. I shared it yesterday. I even saved it. I took a screenshot myself. It's on my YouTube yesterday's stream. So my goal really is to stay safe. Yeah, on the 5, I mean, like I said, this is the bullish case. I retraced quite deeply there. You know, YM had the SMT again here. Well, what was funny was that, like, okay, we had this, where SMT with ES did not break this pre-market low during pre-market, but then here YM has taken out this low. I don't know. It's okay sometimes to be like, you know, if it's not clear to me what the drawn liquidity is anymore, because like we hit it pre-market. That's my definition now for like consolidation markets. It's like, did it hit your level before the indices opened, which is 9:30, right? If I had remembered that yesterday, where NQ hit all-time highs at 9:28, I would have saved myself money because I would have then done a different protocol for my short, or I probably would have made money according to my new protocol. But it's, you know, takes time. Takes time to implement and improve things. That's what I'm focusing on. What do you mean Powell's still not talking? Bruh. Did he not start talking yet? Or did he finish talking, bro? Let me Google it. Because if sometimes he is late. So it could be like we're in a holding pattern until then. Let me see. No, he did. He's done then. He spoke at 9, and I see it. So like I'll go on like Twitter and I'll just Google Powell, and then I'll see like unused financial juice, which I follow. The pandemic has had lasting effects on economy. That's the headliner. Wow. Okay, bro. It's because the government has an unlimited credit card. That's why. Yep. So what are the different things? And also SMT on both sides. Yeah. Yeah, so NQ is like rechasing deeply. I said I'm interested to see what YM does, and if it's gonna do that. And I said like, what's interesting about YM is that Thursday it was so strong that it has like an extra leg than ES and NQ, right? Because this leg on ES and NQ that we're looking at, this is from the FOMC Wednesday. This is Thursday on YM. I wonder if that's going to happen. I don't really, like I said, I don't really trade it because it's just 30 stocks and it's quite slow, things like that. But it's a good exercise to see how it moves more because some people do trade in. I know some people that are really good at it. Yeah, so we're trapped between two PD arrays. So it's been about the first 30 minutes of the day. It's been pretty range bound, right? I would say that's pretty range bound for NQ. 45 points. What is it for ES? ES, since the open, I've just pressed shift and then I drag it. 10 points. It's alright. I've seen worse, but also like, yeah. It's just like, what is your objective here? I'll put an alert if we break this low again. You know? Maybe, but it's looking like the classic like consolidation market. It's possible now we take this high on NQ and we don't on ES. And that kind of market just drives me crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's about knowing the market condition. Just saving money, honestly. I save money not right now. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if NQ now takes this high and ES doesn't, and then we drop lower again and whatever. Whatever it wants to do. If it was going to be any good, you guys, we should have continued dropping rapidly from the open if we were going to have, like, bearishness today. So it's not really looking like it will. Instead, it's bouncing on this 5-minute breaker. Okay, so now it took this high. ES has not yet taken the high. Okay, so again, another like SMT here now. Like, you know, that's just showing me it's not the best markets because like ES was stronger earlier. Right, and now NQ is the stronger one. And YM is, you know, the weakest. When yesterday, look at YM's just dropping lower now. So that's literally the definition of my low probability markets, when the indices are out of sync also. Like this, like YM is very weak, NQ is strong, ES is the middle, whatever. Because typically there will be like, there's always going to be a strongest one and a weakest one. But when their structure is like so different like this, right? When we're breaking lower and lower on YM, while, you know, making new lows on YM while making new highs on the session for NQ. So, I'm learning. Yeah. I got the place yesterday when I started talking about this, so I can just write it out again. And we can like do a little checklist now. I'll be making like a long form. I am in the middle of making a long form video of this, along with a bunch of examples. Right, so we're making these new highs on NQ. YM's bleeding lower. We hit the objective, so it makes sense now. What did I do here? Okay, yeah, I was showing ES and YM. This is DXY. We hit my objective on there, and now it's going lower. But I don't really have a drawn liquidity for DXY now. Okay. I'm just deciding to stay out because of these conditions are met right now, where higher time frame target was hit before equities open. Check. Right, it was the TGIF play. The indices are out of sync. Check. And then the other ones are day before high impact news driver, which is not today. And then we have large London expansion towards the drawn liquidity. No, we don't have that, but we have two of these. So what ends up happening is, yeah, likely just going to be seek and destroy. I don't know if it's going to if it's going to take that out, but like I said, YM is, we're having like some rotation in the market, right? If YM yesterday was the strongest one, and now it's weak, the weakest one, so you're seeing some like rotation. That's pretty difficult to trade in. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, what's the draw? I don't know. We already hit the all-time highs yesterday. Okay, and then if I do decide to get into the trade, I have adjustments on how I get in, right? Okay, so one of them is I have to wait for a 5-minute shift. In structure or change in state and delivery. And then this is where it really matters for me. So it has to be also according to, of course, where I think the drawn liquidity is. But this is where it's going to make a difference, is that my entry, I'm going to force myself basically to take it in the OTE, which is the 0.62 to 0.78 fib retracement if I take the trade, right? Because typically in these high resistance conditions, the market comes back and rebalances pretty much everything. It's not going to just, most of the time, it's just not, it's not going to just like tap in the fair value gap for like just the first tap and then go without you. It's going to do that, build some equal lows, and then give you the OTE, which is the deeper retracement. And that's just going to help me out with my entry. And then if you get a good entry, right, it's a lot easier to manage your trade. And then like what would end up happening, yeah, I'll bring more examples in my coming video. It should be out this weekend. And then my trade management also is like I must put this place to stop at the swing low, which is what we're taught for the 2022 mentorship. But a lot of times, you know, people you try to put it like below breaker, right below the fair value gap. If it's larger, things like that, or 3 PDRAs failing, where in those high resistance conditions, it's going to get taken out because of the deep retracements. So right now, it's pretty interesting right now, right? Like I said, NQ had this huge push up here, and ES still hasn't even taken that high, right? ES still hasn't even taken anything. This high here. Oops, not the GAN box. This. We had this huge push up for... Why isn't this working? Yeah. So you keep getting these SMTs, like, it's not... It just shows it's not a good market to be participating in. And I'm pretty happy with predicting that before taking a loss this time. So far my checklist is working out pretty nicely, I would say. So for me, like if I think it's bearish, right, I would have to wait for a break of a short-term low with a fair value gap and then take an OTE. And right now we're not really anywhere near short-term low, especially on NQ, right? So, and if I were bullish, which I'm not really bullish, but if I were, right? So this is the area where like I would previously mess up, is like, oh, I would look on the 1 minute and just take this and then maybe put your stop here. But it's highly likely we're going to retrace into this fair value gap here. So if I were bullish, I would demand myself to take the OTE. And that's if I'm not bullish right now. You might be hearing my cat meowing, so I apologize. I feel like this should be bigger. Let me see if there's any comments or questions. Right, so the idea is if we were like bearish and like we would have already been to my target by now, like it's 10, 12 and a low resistance liquidity run. And something I can show is like last week before the open. Right here, there are a few of them. Yeah, so we had this like Wednesday high of the week last week. Wednesday high of the week, and it happened during London, right? So you had this London manipulation. Is this a 5 minute? Yeah. I think it's better to be shown on the 15, but London manipulation. Taking out some liquidity or high. I think it was maybe even what it was filling in like a 4-hour fair value gap completely imbalance. We can take a look, honestly. It's not like I'm gonna, you know, if I don't see a trade, I could definitely just talk about or do some back testing. So last week Wednesday, right, 4-hour, filled this fair value gap. It hit this also, this area. I think it was cleaner on the 1 hour. Yeah, hit this 1 hour breaker block. I do prefer the 1 hour over the 4 hour. Hit this hourly breaker block. from Friday, the Friday before, and a fair value gap on Wednesday, and it took out Tuesday's high during London. Or you don't have to even be predicting all of that during London or anything, but you see that the formation by New York time, which is like 8:30, that you have this intermediate term high now, because that filled that in and it broke lower. Now you have this intermediate term high. I guess I'll leave that there. So you have two smaller highs to the left and the right of it, and then this is really confirmation is here. This is like pretty much according to episode 12 of the 2022 mentorship. It's really good. But confirmation is once it breaks a short-term low after this short-term high was made, and it did here, right? And with a fair value gap on the 15. So this is an example of a low resistance liquidity run lower, because look how quickly it delivered, right? You actually had to be in pre-market because it came into the CE of this fair value gap during like 9 o'clock to 9:15, and then at the open it just dropped. Eventually I will be participating in these kinds of moves because they do happen often when I don't know, they happen pretty often. Say like maybe half the time. And so during the open, it hit that this liquidity here, these equal lows. Or you could say like lunch lows from the previous day. Order blocks, whatever you want to say. It makes sense for it to pause here. And so that makes the silver bullet time not very clean, right? So then I would take like a loss during this. Maybe even, I think I probably tried a long, I don't know. I'll have to review exactly what I did that day. Because even though you hit this higher time, if you hit that higher time frame objective by 10, it's finished the distribution, right? So it's accumulating again. It just makes it harder. So I'd rather participate in this move. And here's another example then, the next day. This one's a little less clean, but next day, same thing. Where London, right, London is from 2 to 5. Came in, filled this imbalance up here. This is probably an hourly fair value gap. Hit this order block. And then it broke a short-term low. Oh, looks like I got my alert for YM. Let's see if it hit it. Okay. So YM hit the 20% of the weekly retrace. Pretty cool. So, interesting. Pretty nice. And you see how quickly it came? It didn't even fill this in. So, yeah, I don't know exactly how YM works. But it hit the 20% of the weekly retracement now. As it was shifted from being the strongest to the weakest. Cool. Anyway, then it happened again the next day. And the key is to wait for a short-term low being broken with a fair value gap. I think the 15-minute is the best for that. If you want more on this particular topic, daily profiles, AM Trades has a really good video on it. I watched it. It was good. Here, we retraced during the open, 9:30, and rejected. And there were SMTs here, I think, between ES not taking this high and NQ is. So I would have to, for sure, figure out an entry criteria. But I think that day actually, if it goes into a 15-minute point of interest, then you could like look for a 1-minute market structure shift. I do believe it offered something here. And then it went for these lows from the previous day, Wednesday low, right? And same type of thing, right? It went for it during the open, right? Dropped, and by 10, we had hit the Wednesday low. And even though I had like previous week low as a target eventually and I was looking for shorts, this was a tough day for me. I was having a lot of technical difficulties. And because of the high resistance liquidity run conditions, it made where we hit one objective by 10, it made it difficult. So the way I would adjust is if I still had more targets, I'll wait for a short-term low break with a fair value gap, which was here on the 5 though. So I had already taken an L here because of this deep retracement. I was just like I was like, we're gonna go again to the low day or whatever. So I'm just reviewing this. And then OTE would be this. It did retrace to OTE here, you see, 618, and 705 was even hit here, and putting my stop here, right? Then even just to getting this low again, if you get in at 618, you can always know this just by heart. If you get in at the 618 and it just hits that low, you're getting a 1.5 R, right? Or like about 1.5. It's like 1.66 R. Yeah, 1.6 R. 1.66 R. Even better. If you're getting in at 705, it's going to be like 2 R, 2.3 R. If you're getting in at the optimal, like the deepest one, which you're not probably, if you're always, I'm not going to demand that much. Likely I'll just do 618. Then it's 3.6, just to that low. So that offers some more flexibility, right? Because you could go and think that this is your target, but if it takes this low, take a partial, etc. And then, like I said, my adjustment would be whether or not I take either keep the stop or even moving it to break even. Yeah, you would get stopped out break even here, but that's fine. It's not a loss. But if I'm getting in too eagerly, I'm getting stopped out and taking a full loss, So that's my adjustment there. But you can see how it was very choppy this day, and then eventually it did hit this objective, the new low of day at 3 p.m. Well, like I said, I'd rather be part of that initial move. And then again, the next day, I believe Friday, the same thing happened. Yeah. This one is not as clear, though. This one, it's like you have to think it's a structure shift but you see, like, yeah, it's not as clean for sure, but I did know someone who took it because this order block was closed below. Yeah, that one's not as clean, but it did happen on Friday at 8:30. That was the entry. I believe it was, I think, unemployment news. And it went to last week's low. And you can see how, again, yeah, by 9:30, we're all the way down here and the daily candles basically formed. So it makes the whatever, the 10 a.m. move a lot more difficult. Anyway, so what has happened so far? Really, we haven't left this range for NQ, so far so good with my decision making. Yeah, so you have ES and if YM hit the weekly retrace of 20%. Indices are all out of sync, so I'm not going to take the trade. I would have saved myself money from the short yesterday if I had just remembered, like, okay, we hit the all-time highs at 928, that's pre-market. And then also, yes, YM was super strong, and the indices were out of sync. So, but yeah, we're adjusting. Gotta adjust. Let me see any questions here. What Head and Shoulders requires? Okay. Did you know your daily streams rival Top Step TV? So awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I do know that because I'm just aware. People tell me. It's pretty cool. I appreciate everybody watching and the fact that like I try to provide some value. Some people say I provide more peace and calm while trading. So whatever it is, whatever you know, someone else is gonna like different things. Some people prefer more energy and excitement. It's all, and yeah, I don't know. Let me think. Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and let me just think though. So these kinds of markets are really not, this is like not the type of condition that you honestly want to trade in at all. Wait, did I like, yeah, okay. Yeah, this too. But more specifically, like if you're trying to pass a challenge that has like, intraday trailing drawdown, it just makes it very difficult, right? You want to be part of those fast runs for that. So, but yeah, let me think. Yeah, so for like Apex, like you could buy the 80% off sale. You don't like, you have like a whole month to pass it. You don't have to pass it in one day, right? If you want to pass in one day, you should wait for, this is not financial advice, but like to pass in one day, I wait for, high impact news drivers that are significant, right? So today is just Jay Powell speaking. That's not really that significant. So I mean like aftermath of CPI, you know, stuff like that. Because yeah, you want to be in those low resistance liquidity runs where price doesn't retrace much. Yeah, so I'm happy I didn't like press the button and like push my buys because it's just this is ugly. I definitely am like, I really want like a good win on stream, you know, that's like always fun and you know, but if the market's not giving it to you, you can't force your will onto the market. So, and right now, yeah, we're in the middle of the range. What are you gonna do? DXY is pushing back up, but indices are all out of sync. It's weird. So I hope at the very least, maybe I helped someone not get chopped up here. Nas God Noah says, Tanya, you will go down in history. I appreciate it. Personally, love your stream because it's not a show. It's a trading stream all about trading. Oh, thank you, Josh Jenkins. Vlad says he Vladlen Vronsky says, I appreciate the chill vibes here. Cool. Okay, so someone says, Joel XY says, Tanya, can you please tell us how we can keep a trading journal? Do you use Excel, Notion, or Notepad? What details should we use while journaling? Sure. So there's a few different ways. When I was first starting out, I was using Notion, I think. And yeah, I was using Notion, and I personally don't really like Notion. It's clunky. It takes such a long time to load. Although some people love it, they like how it's organized. Each their own. Then I moved on to making my own personal Discord server just for myself, right? Just for journals. That's what I think is a nice free option, right? Just make your own Discord channel just for yourself, or server, and then have sections where you put one section where you put in screenshots of your trades, and then add in how long were you in the trade for, trade duration, how much you risked, and how much you profited. So your RR. That's basically what I look at. And then any thoughts or notes. And always be positive in your journal, because you want positive self-talk. But I got tired of inputting data myself, right? So you do want a spreadsheet. So I would also use Excel with just that kind of stuff, but like, you can't put in screenshots. But I think a really good thing also to have, if you're going to use like your own personal journal, diary for free or whatever, Word document, Discord, whatever, I think keeping track, taking a screenshot, even if you miss the trade, of the best trade of the day according to your setup. Did you take it, and why? Why not? Whether it was like you were fearful, or whether the market conditions were not right, or whether it was during lunchtime and you weren't at the computer, etc. Or I was out of the kill zone, so that's one of your criteria, and you missed it. So adding all that, most importantly, you take the screenshot, you do the RR tool, like this. I honestly don't even see something to show as an example here. Okay, right here. Right, so if this was it, like I would put in like, oh, this is an MMSM. This was the trade. First target, second target. How long was I in the trade for, right? And then it would be 25 minutes. Yeah. And for first target, and then 35 for the second, right? And it was 4R and 6R. And then any mistakes you write, like you can write, I do keep track of that, but like whether you entered too early, I have different tags I use for that. So nowadays I don't really do that because I don't like inputting data manually. So what I do is I just upload my my trades onto TradeZella, and then it automatically just has all my stats uploaded, meaning like the risk reward and trade duration, everything. And then it shows it on the chart also for me, so I don't have to do that. So all I have to put in is really the journaling, the mistakes, the thoughts, and the setup. So that saves me time. Yeah, I like it because it's clean and it just saves me a lot of time. There's obviously free options around there. But if you are interested in TradeZella, I did get a discount from them. The information's in the description. It's if you go for the monthly, it's Tanya 10 for 10% off. And if you want the yearly, it's Tanya 20 for 20% off. But yeah, there's different options there. But for me, I recommend for free. If you want a free one, I think Discord, making your own Discord servers, good. And then for paid one, I like TradeZella. So, chop shop. You see like all these ugly, like, oh, another SMT here, right? Oh, ES took this high, right? It doesn't mean anything. Oh, NQ took this high and ES didn't. And then now ES took this low and NQ didn't. That doesn't really mean much because the indices are all out of sync, right? You don't use this. We don't use all these SMTs when the indices are out of sync like that. Right? It's not really going to matter because it's just in a holding pattern. Yeah. Let me see any other comments we have. Ayo, Tanya, loved the trade recaps. Please continue doing them. Okay, thanks. I actually do, like, you know the MMSM I just showed? I was in that yesterday, but my computer would like my OBS and my computer would just like spasm. My OBS would fail. So I don't know what happened to that. The recording got corrupted, and that annoyed me because I'm like, I wanted to show I got into the trade that went to my target for my bias that I said in the morning, right? Because recently the mornings have been trash like this, honestly. This is good for scalpers and people that like range trading, but I don't like that. I don't participate in that. But I caught the end of day macro on the close, like the drop at the end of the day. So I did get a recording of that. I guess because it was a shorter trade. I don't know. I hope that I don't get more problems. I had to update my GPU driver. Thank you, Sean Creso. You always provide value. I appreciate it. Nomos Foster says, the biggest thing you provide is teaching both calm trading and technicals. You explain what you're doing. Yeah, appreciate it. I try to just I do talk through my process, and like I was talking about here, why I wouldn't take this particular short here. And that saved me from getting stopped, obviously. And how we were stuck between PD arrays and how it was very possible to bounce here. We did. But I wasn't particularly just going to buy that because I wasn't bullish. We hit our weekly objective. So that was my thought process here. But yeah, I mean, I would just say don't rush into always taking a trade. Let me see. There's a bunch of different there's a bunch of different sales always going on. Like for sure, if it's a good sale, like, you know, and you want to buy the challenge, do that. But like also like don't rush the challenge. Don't rush the eval. What was my alert for? Okay, ES is breaking a 5-minute low here. I think it already did. Yeah, it already had at that point. Okay, it's probably not even going to displace there. I don't know. We'll see if it does. Maybe it heads for 30%. Right, because like honestly, if I could make this trading show about like me just leveraging a lot of contracts to pass evals, but what good would that do? It wouldn't even be good for my own psychology. Yeah, but like right now, so Apex is having their 80% off sale. for I don't know how long. Like basically you can just go to their website and they say 5 more days. Okay, so for like the next 5 days you can pass in 1 day and it's 80% off if you use code Tanya Trades. But like I said, you don't have to pass in 1 day. And then the other sale going on right now, I think My Funded Futures announced it yesterday. They're doing like 30% off. Their starter evals and no activation fee. So, which I think that's actually really good, because if you pass by, I think, see, they're actually giving you time until April 6th to pass. So if you pass before April 6th, then there's no activation fee. If you use code Tanya Trades, you get 30% off and there's no activation fee. So typically, futures firms have activation fees, like $150 or so, around that typically. So that's the other promotion going on. So it's up to you and what you want to do, on what kind of drawdown you have. Maybe I'll do like a video based on the drawdowns. I do have it in my webinar. So My Funded Futures is an end of day drawdown, and the 50K will be like $70. And Apex is intraday, but it's like, to buy an eval, it's like $37 or so. But you do have to end up paying an activation fee for the one that you pass. So it depends on what you want to do, whether you want to pay a cheaper upfront fee or or a little bit higher no activation fee. I just diversify. I have like everything, right? Because I have My Funded Futures, Apex, and Top Step. Top Step doesn't really have so many discounts because they're around for like 12 years, but they're good too. They're the longest around. I use them as well. But yeah, I mean, this is like this is ugly. This is the thing, like, right? I put the alert for what was it, ES, for breaking this low, because potentially, we could like break it with a displacement and go here. It's not doing that. It's just gonna probably soup these lows, right? People that like turtle soups. I don't know. There's 3 minutes left in the candle, so we'll see. But it's unlikely to really get anywhere. See, it's not like you want to be in a trade. Well, I want to be in a trade where it's in a rush to get somewhere, right? Low resistance liquidity run. It's not breaking this low or any low with any sort of fair value gap. Let's see. There's 2 minutes left. It could. But more likely it won't because of the conditions. Soup the lows and then just come back to 50% of the range. We could watch that. When I say like soup, it means like just like sweeping it and coming back in. People call it turtle soup. Yeah, I don't enjoy that trade entry. Could be really good, for sure. It's gonna be interesting. If we leave this as like an equal low for later to take, maybe. So maybe it closes back inside 50% of the range, comes back up to 50%, does whatever else, like kind of like yesterday. Comes back, does whatever. SMT maybe takes this out later in the day if it makes an equal low. I don't know what it's going to do though. More likely than not, it will just come back. Because in these environments, that's it's pretty much, those are your options. It's like either don't trade or you gotta play the range like that. You gotta play at the extremes of the ranges. Let's see. There's 20 seconds left in this candle. It's not, you know, it needs to form, first off, to create a fair value gap, you need to form another candle. So we'll see what the next candle does. More likely than not, it comes back. Really interesting to see if we end up, oh, we took out the low. Okay, let's see what this one does. More like, it's more possible that this doesn't make a fair value gap in it. SMT again and just comes back here. So I'll watch. So if it's 10:45, see if that ends up happening for the 10:50 to 11:10 macro. So honestly, I'm happy I didn't lose money in this range chop. That's a win. Considering like so many of the mornings have been like that. Progress. Let's see what this ends up doing. You know, NQ didn't take out the low. YM is bleeding lower. Where's the 30% of the down here? So what's the range so far in ES? The whole day's range. Yeah. It's almost 11. We moved about 15 points. And on NQ, it's 64 points. Yeah. I'd rather be part of the days where NQ runs like 250 points. Those are way easier. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. More likely than not, it takes out this high, comes back up to 50%. So that would be like 5 points. See what this does. This candle is important. Let's see anything else. Yeah, so this candle is not, there's no fair value gap now on this 5 minute, came back here. So again, no shorting for me. So it's more likely, like I've been saying, it retraces back to 50% of the range, as NQ is not taking any of these lows and looking stronger. Right? I'll watch it. Like these moves up aren't even, there are no bullish fair value gaps in the move up either, even with NQ. So yeah, there's reasons why I'm not going to participate. I'm just going to watch. It's just not my entry. Not my entry type. Not my bias. Yeah. $10.50 is here to $11.10. What does the hourly look like now on ES? Oh, breaking below that. So the hourly is breaking below here. Interesting. NQ's not there yet. Well, the end of the hour will be at 11. London close. Oh yeah, obviously, because it's the hourly low. What's the daily look like? Wasn't there someone like at the beginning of the stream that was like, why are you bearish? Like, we're bullish, we're in a daily fair value gap. I mean, where are they now? It's easy to say, type that in a chat and then, like, you know, you have no, how would you say, accountability, I guess. So no one's gonna follow up on you. But like on my live streams, it's totally different if you're on Front Street, like my friend Kit likes to say. You're out on Front Street. $10.50. Wonder, did we take that low or no? Okay, we did. 1050. Sub the previous low. Yeah. There's no candle like breaking above a previous one. This is definitely like, this type of market here is definitely like watching paint dry. This breaker held once, one time. Actually, it makes sense if it ends up failing the second time. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. That's why I don't do the turtle soup things. It's like, I don't know. I wonder how people do like the entry for that. They must wait for some sort of, my friend that does it, he does wait for a signature where I think like a candle breaks above a previous one. So I wonder if people, I don't know, it's before the macro though. Very sluggish, slow grind down. And I wanna say, like, you know, I'm happy that I avoided the chop. And I'm pretty much gonna be like happy for that. There's always gonna be, if you go on Twitter or wherever, Instagram or whatever, people showing a move and bragging about it, being like, this was clean or like textbook or something. Don't ever like let that bother you or anything. Like, as long as you followed your own plan, you're good. And a lot, remember that like social media is a highlight reel. People are on Twitter only like gonna post their wins. And it makes sense. I mean, like, when I've posted like a loss before, like, you know, you'll get like a lot of people just like giving you advice. So I understand maybe why people don't like to do that. Or like, I guess like they're promoting a paid community or something, or a service. So that's their marketing. Yeah, so yeah, slowly grinding down here while NQ goes nowhere. Really not much. It would be really interesting if it ES just decides to become weak like YM. YM's just been chugging along lower. Trend day for YM. Wonder if it gets here. That's like, I think yesterday's low, right? Oh, I already hit yesterday's low. Wow. Cool. Cool to just read that. Because why it is going higher. Not really anything for me today. I wanted it to have if I was to short it, I wanted it to break with a fair value gap. And it didn't. It's just a slow grind down. So I don't really care to miss it. It's only moved like 3 points. London close, 11. Yeah. Pretty happy with my discipline because coming in today, right, what was the plan was seeing how it would react in this hourly fair value gap, and the criteria for me to get involved was a break of a low with a fair value gap, and we just didn't get that. So that kept me out of chop. Yeah, not even on like the 1 minute was there a break. Was there a fair value gap here? No. There was one here. But that's it. I don't really care that much for it. Like, what's the target really like down here? When we've moved only this much? Not my criteria. No trade. High resistance liquidity run condition for me, my criteria is on the 5 minute I want to break with a fair value gaps. So pretty happy stayed out of this chop today. There's been times where, like, you know, so that is growth for me. And I hope some people, maybe I helped stay out of the chop. This full screen is not showing my prices. Really? On ES? Yeah. So what I'll do is, which one is this? Yeah, I'll just do that for now. Okay. Okay, so starting to come back into the range. What I'll see here, maybe this is that turtle soup, like this 5 minutes breaking above a previous 5 minute high. I'm sure there's some people who are looking at this inversion, shift inversion here. Sure. Or turtle souping it. Finally have some sort of large green candle. Let's see if it comes back to 50% of the range by 11:10. Break right here. And fair value gap. How many minutes left in this 5 minute? 20 seconds. Love your discipline, Tanya. HK says, I'm learning a lot from you, thanks. I'm glad I can provide some value. NQ definitely, I have NQ on the screen. It's definitely stronger. Because it's been the stronger when it didn't take out that low. What's next week looking like? Let's see. On Forex Factory. What do we got next week? What do we got next week? Friday the 22nd. That's today. Next week is the 25th to 29th. Okay, we have Tuesday high impact news, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, we have core PCE on Friday. That's going to be big. The Fed does look at core PCE a lot for their rate decisions. Okay, we have final GDP and home sales on Thursday. Wednesday, actually, there's not really high impact news. It's at 6 p.m. FOMC member Waller speaks. On Tuesday, we have 10 a.m. high impact news, which should be interesting. I kind of like 10 a.m. high impact news. So, yeah, this is the market where it's kind of conditions I'm being still. There's because, look, I don't really want to risk money in this kind of range. But I'll watch this. But it's 11:07 already. See what if ES ends up getting bought up here. We'll just watch it. Let's see. Breaker. Just the breaker, the full one. And the fair value gap here. It's 11:10 right now. It would make sense anyway. Okay, let's see if it hits the 50% of the range. And Q, really doing well. And Q didn't even retrace into its little fair value gap and breaker area. It just mooned. So that's what I mean. A lot of the times, it's just not gonna. It's gonna just give the extreme end and then go without your for that one. Interesting. Anyway, we'll see if ES catches up. Needs to move 2 more points to get back to 50% of the range. Decent, not decent. Probably gonna take a lot longer, you know. Probably gonna take longer in this type of market. Nice move from NQ there. But yeah, I'm glad reading price was pretty good today. We'll see if it ends up getting to 50%, but definitely watch out for my, look out for my video coming up soon about these conditions, low probability conditions, my consolidation playbook, essentially. Yeah, thanks for coming, you guys. I think maybe I'll do a giveaway next week to sort of reward my viewers. Been kind of crazy. But yeah, not the easiest week, you guys, so make sure that you stay safe. It's a Friday right now. We hit our weekly objective. Check out those prop firms if you're interested in buying a challenge. My Fund and Futures and Apex are doing sales right now. The link's in the description, but other than that, stay safe on Friday. It's called Capital Preservation Friday for a reason. If you made money this week, careful not to give too much back. If you lost money this week, be careful not to turn it into a gusher. You know, there's always next week. There's always another trading day. And with that, thanks for coming and happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. I'll see you. I think I will stream on Monday, so I'll see you on Monday. 9:50.